Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Nier Reincarnation, let's continue with the Sun and the Moon. This is going to be part 2. I wanted to separate these into different videos, but I wasn't sure like how many it was going to be in the end. It may end up being 6, doing one for each of the parts, because that first one was just so long. But let's go through.
木漏れ日の差す広間。デートにぴったりの雰囲気だね。
冗談はともかく、太陽のかけらまでの案内お願いしますね。
僕に任せてや。でも冗談って。
This is my second playthrough going with the other character. I was looking forward to Papa in particular. I said in the previous video that some Japanese folks don't like Papa because they think he is a perv. But I don't get that impression, like that exchange that they had just there. I'm pretty sure that Papa was talking about like Hina going on a date with someone else, not him. But first, I guess what I can talk about is why I'm doing this, why I'm recording this playthrough. A video that I made after the announcement of shutdown. I talked about wanting to make videos in maybe sort of 2 major categories. One of which is preservation. I want to make a record of at least this part of the story. And I can add like my input as we go through. Yeah, no, thank you. But yeah, I'm not making this video like so many other YouTube videos out there that are like forgotten in a day or two, you know? This is meant to be kind of revisited or referred back to, you know, months from now or even years from now. Just to look at like what was the mobile game experience of Nier Reincarnation like.
黒いかかしに到着だ。修復のお仕事を始めようか。
なんだか動物みたいな形。
このかかしには誰の過去が記憶されているんだろうね。
I know that at some time I'm going to revisit these videos. I'm recording it as much for myself as I am for other people. So hello, future me. Alright, let's go in here. We're going to skip all of the story and battle. Story meaning the Scarecrow stories. We're just focused on Yuzuki and Hina here. But talking about Yuzuki and Hina, I was not aware of this at the time, but in their Dark Memory stories, we see the Legion, the kind of the white, calcified bad guys, monsters. And apparently, that's the first time that they've ever been depicted. Like they've been described before in other media, but never shown. And so when I heard that, you know, a couple days ago, I thought that was like pretty big news, you know? Like, why would they go to the trouble of actually, you know, drawing out the design of what these monsters look like if there wasn't a plan for them in the future? I was always suspecting that maybe there would be a future game centered around Hina and Yuzuki. But now I feel like the chances are a little bit better with the reveal of the Legion. Maybe one of these days I'll make a video about what I maybe predict or expect about the future of Nier on console.
分かってます。
I feel like if they're going to make a Nier game, they're almost obligated to use 2B and 9S. Just because they're so popular. Can you imagine a new Nier game without them? I think people will be very upset. So I wonder if that kind of like hamstrings the creative process of the game developers. And so that maybe lessens the chance of a Hina and Yuzuki console game in the future. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
獣人ちょっと可愛かったですね。
じゃあパパとどっちが可愛いと思う？
獣人ですね。
もう少し悩んでもいいんじゃないかな。
They're a cute pair, right? Hina and Papa. But yeah, like that world or that timeline where we saw Hina and Yuzuki in their Dark Memory stories. There's never been a game that was set at that time period, on that timeline.
あなたは修復のお仕事をしないんですか？
僕には刑事の案内っていう大役があるからね。それに僕は印税だけで暮らしたい派というか。
いろいろわかりました。
Hina and Yuzuki fighting the Legion takes place kind of before and after Nier Replicant, after that opening scene in the shopping center, but before the future of the main game. But I don't know. Would people be interested in playing that game as much as, you know, the sequel to Automata?
大丈夫。大丈夫。やっぱ無理。
ほらほら、頑張って。僕がついてるから安心して。
This scene feels like, you know, what any father and daughter go through. Like first time swimming or climbing a tree. Alright, we made it.
なんとか。ってまた行き止まり？
まあまあ、その装置を起動してごらん。
目が回って。
いわゆるワープってやつだね。
Later, I don't know how much later, I'll do a video where I play through People World. I don't know if I'm going to do all of it. I'll try, of course, but I absolutely want to do the latest part where we meet 10H. But in there, we learn that maybe the stories of Nier Reincarnation here are not
あれ
the same timeline as Automata?
ひなちゃんの世界と刑事には何か深いつながりがあるのかも。元の世界が恋しいかい？
もちろんですよ。
おやおや、ちょっと間があったみたいだけど。この階段、もしかして壊れたり。
I talked about this in a video sometime, but the Earth that is revealed when we see it at the end of the previous chapter of People World, when we're on the moon, I was looking at the sunlight, how it was falling on the Earth, and then wondering if that was like a different dimension or a different timeline or something. But apparently, it is the same as Automata. It is possible for the sun to be on North America and Japan at the same time. North America is 17 hours behind Japan, I think it is. So yeah, it is still the same universe, I guess, as Automata, but maybe a different path, I guess you could say. We'll talk about this later.
ちょっと
Ooh.
危なかったね。もう少し登るのが遅れたら。
早く家に帰りたい。
I wonder if these leaves mean anything. Like an imperfection or a infection or something. Although we did see it during a Girl Monster, the kind of the last chapters of the Theo and Lavanya.
気を取り直してお仕事再開だ。
In a previous video, I talked, or in the previous video, I talked about maybe these representations of Hina and Yuzuki not being perfect or whole themselves. Or perhaps even being something created by the cage. Their true identity, even with the latest chapter of People World, still not super clear.
魔法使い100人の命を差し出せたなんて。
いつの時代も願いを叶えるには代償が必要なんだね。
ワープって便利だけど慣れないですね。
The cage is so impressive as a structure. They really put a lot of thought and effort into making it. I remember the early trailers for the game before it came out. You know, people were looking at people running through the cage and wondering, is this a console game? Graphics that were too good for a mobile game, they said. But with the announcement of Shutdown, you know, I see a lot of people talking about the game. And I see a lot of dumb, bad takes, of course. A lot of people saying that Nier Reincarnation is not a real game, quote-unquote real, because it's not on console. Okay. I talked about this before, but Nier Reincarnation is it's Yoko Taro and the other staff challenging the users to think differently about the mobile game platform. They want to tell a story, of course, within the game, but they also want to make a statement about the industry and about our perceptions of it. And I think the game has done a great job of, taking our expectations and flipping them, showing us a mobile game like we've never seen before. But yeah, reading the comments recently, people who clearly haven't played the game, or else they have played the game and they haven't gotten the message that, this one is different. It is maybe the realest mobile game ever. I mean, the gameplay, yeah, you could say it's not console level. Or even compared to other mobile games, it's less robust. But as a world, as a story, top class, for sure. Okay, so here we got kind of a a cutscene where we saw Yuzuki running through the cage. And Papa seemed a little worried at that. I wonder why. Maybe he would prefer that Hina did not get a vision like that. And then here, there would be the dropped items, but they're not here for some reason. I guess if I would go back into the map as Yuzuki, then they would appear. But at this point, I really just want them to get books for Dark Memory characters. Thankfully, I had enough lying around to get 4 for 10H. Alright, so here again, we get a hint about kind of the true nature of the cage. In the previous video, Hina points out that it looks like a prison. Here again, she mentions it kind of looks like a prison. As we know from later in People World, where Mama kind of explains what the cage is, it is indeed a place to hold people who have sinned in their lives. But like the goal of the structure is to kind of set it up so that these people have a chance to atone for their sins. And they can do that by acknowledging them, by facing them straight on. Why, they want people to atone and then be freed of the cage, we still have yet to find out. Although that might be tied to like needing individuals to fight for the sake of the cage or for the memories, the data of humanity. Alright, here we go. We're gonna tap. Whoa.
これも仕方のないことなんだ。
That was sudden and heavy. Yeah, the nature of the blackbirds is also still a mystery.
子供の頃の弟のことを思い出して、お姉ちゃんの私が守らなきゃなんて張り切ってて。
弟さんか。そうだ。
So there is the second mention of the brother.
まあ少しだけですよ。ちょっと何を。
ひなちゃんが寂しそうだから弟さんに電話をかけてみようと思って。や
めてください。
ごめんごめん、悪いことだと思ってなくて。
Hina seems very put out by the potential contact with the brother. But we did see the
すみませんでした。
僕も悪かったよ。気にせず行ってらっしゃい。
行ってきます。
But going through Yuzuki's story at the same time, we did see the telephone call come. We have the option of answering or hanging up. Doesn't matter which we choose because the call ends before we can get to it.
あの重臣が親友のメガネの女の子だったなんて。
I really like the story of Saryu and Priyat. Saryu is a very... not Saryu. Priyat is a very unfortunate character. Where her kind of punishment is way out of proportion with her sin. I'm still thinking about making that video about sin in Nier games.
何か覚えがあるのかい？
私が小さかった頃、母の実家でよくピアノを練習してたんです。上手に弾けると家族みんなが喜んでくれて。
素敵な思い出だね。今度僕にも聞かせてよ。
簡単な曲でよければ。私が家に帰るまでに機会があればですけどね。
I would still like to see Priyat returned to her human form sometime during the run of Nier Reincarnation here. But during the People in the World, you know, we saw all of the characters kind of go through together. And then the Sun Moon pair characters in particular, they got what could be considered the resolution, but it didn't go very far. Like Sadia and Priyat, they talked about kind of their true feelings, you know, for each other or about themselves. And then Sadia said that she wanted to help Priyat. And it's just left there. We're never going to see, we may never see, them actually achieve that. And like Marie and Yuri, you know, they technically got resolution, but it was something as surface as like, you know, one hugging the other. That's very Japanese, that kind of like non-resolution. But like the Westerner part of me desires a more explicit resolution. Sometime in the next 3 months, I'll go back and I'll look at kind of the history or the run of Nier Reincarnation from the point of view of an industry watcher. Maybe think about like what was the development team's plans or like the publisher's plans for the game before it was released? You know, was it always meant to be a 3-year game, and they, you know, wrote out the story ahead of time? Sales be damned. But like as we've gone along, you know, we've kind of seen like no drop-off in story or character design or character release or event release. If a game really is very reliant on the money that it takes in, they're going to make cuts along the way.
そろそろ最後の黒いかかしだよ。お給料までもう一頑張りだ。
Although we did see cuts, the English voice acting.
さあさあ、獣人の過去を見届けよう。
このかかしを修復すれば太陽のかけらが。
Another thing that should be very interesting this year is the second season of the Nier Automata anime. In the first season, we saw a connection to Nier Reincarnation, and we saw some differences from the Nier Automata game. And it'll be interesting to see like how far the story goes of the anime. And see if it also sets up the future of the series.
互いに思い合っていても、人は争いの運命から逃れられない。
争いたくないなら誰かが我慢するしかない。それなら誰も傷つけなくて済むから。
まあまあ、難しい話はともかく、今回もご苦労様。
So at the end there, Papa talked about these two characters meeting their fate despite whatever efforts that they made. And that is an accurate description of fate. I think I had talked about this in my Greek tragedy video. But fate is just something inescapable. And then part of the catharsis that comes from watching Greek tragedy.
でもワープでひとっ飛びですね。
おやおや、ずいぶんたくましくなったね。
Part of the catharsis that we get is the audience kind of already knows the fate of the character portrayed, but the character themselves does not know, and so it's like it's affecting, it's tragic to watch them sort of hurtle towards that, even if they are working to avoid it. Okay, another stack of TVs. Let's look at
次は私の
Hina's past.
過去に向き合うこと、それが改変を望むの。
These cutscenes, we saw all of these the first run through. We just got them much later
都心の高校に通う
than
少
we
女
would
は
otherwise.
笑顔で青春を過ごす。その裏にあるのは輝かしさからかけ離れた父親との生活。
Alright, here we're getting kind of a digest of the previous
母親が
chapter.
残した多額の借金で父親は精神的に追い詰められた。少女は大好きな父親のためにいつも笑顔を絶やさない。一日を終えた人々が行き交う都心の繁華街。夜を疑うほどに明るい大通りを一人の少女が走る。後ろ暗いことを隠すようにパーカーのフードを目深にかぶって。
Okay, so here we get a look at Tokyo, which I think is more in line with people's image of it. But tall buildings, lots of lights, lots of cars, people walking around. And yeah, this is what it's like, but it's often more crowded than this.
スマホに通知を受け取り、もうすぐ着きますと手早くチャットに打ち込む。あるアルバイトの依頼主からの催促を受けて少女は足を速めた。
Client. So as of now, we don't know what exactly is, what transaction is going on here. I know what the developers are trying to insinuate here. And is that Yuzuki back there? Is he following her? Alright, here we're entering a back alley.
薄暗い路地裏に入る。表の街と対照的な闇が潜む場所。大学生くらいの若い男が暗がりに佇んでいた。彼は少女に気づき、にやついた表情を向ける。男からお金を受け取り、少女が小さな袋を手渡す。袋の中身は違法な薬物。それが借金返済のために彼女が請け負った仕事。またお願いします。にやつく男から逃げるように少女はきびすを返す。誰かの人生を壊している。胸の内に渦巻く罪悪感。父親と暮らすためだと少女は感情を押し殺す。不意に向けられた刃物。男の気候に恐怖を覚え、少女はとっさに走り出した。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
Okay, so there we saw the part-time job that Hina is doing. Both Hina and Yuzuki, they are going to great lengths to help their respective parent. But I find, one aspect of each of them pretty unbelievable. The fact that Hina would choose to do this instead of just like work at McDonald's or something is unbelievable to me. But for the sake of the story, she needs to have basically committed a crime to make the later part of the story really happen. The unbelievable part of Yuzuki is that he would think that he can become a doctor and then do the research in time in order to save his dying mother. Nobody's that naive.
通行人を縫うようにかける。転倒した少女の手足に痛みが走る。父親と一緒に暮らしたい。そんなささやかな願いのために少女は己の心を犠牲にする。
Yeah, I can't believe somebody like Hina would become a drug mule. But one thing about drug dealing is, if you don't do it, somebody else is. But the guilt of doing it is still very real. I recently watched Moonlight. Mahershala Ali is the drug dealer in that film. And in there too, he struggles with the guilt. He has the same idea, that if he doesn't do it, somebody else is. But he still feels a level of responsibility for the people that he deals to and their family members. He understands that he is harming people in his neighborhood. I don't know this song. Or maybe it's just used so infrequently that I don't recognize it. Let's wait a little bit. There might be like that. There it is. Okay, I know this song. Let's keep going. 少女は普段通りの明るい声で学校での出来事を話す。担任の先生が紹介してくれた有料企業への就職の話、きっと喜んでくれる。そう思っていた少女が見たのは泣き崩れる父親の姿だった。娘の進学すら叶えられない不甲斐なさを嘆く父。Right, Hina's not going to university, she's going straight to work. Why 私たちの人生は何度も繰り返した問いに出される答えはいつも同じ。多額の借金を残し、父親から全てを奪った母親。少女の心に白雪のように冷たい憎悪が今日も積もっていく。 Beautiful song. But that's really tough, to have somebody that you love in front of your eyes, right in front of you, but they're not the same person. There again, we run into the problem of no pronouns in Japanese, so we actually don't know the sex of who she is blaming there. By saying his, it's implied that she is blaming Yuzuki.
私、お父さんのためなら何でもする。でも、私一人じゃどうにもならなくて。
壊れた太陽を直せれば、きっとひなちゃんの過去を。ほらほら、ひなちゃんに泣き顔は似合わない。僕の胸に飛び込んで涙を拭いて。鼻も噛み放題だよ。
そんなことしませんよ。
やっと笑ってくれたね。さあさあ、先へ行こう。
So there we saw a little barrier break between Hina and Papa. Before, she would brush off his jokes, but there, she actually laughed. But yeah, based on what we just saw, that flashback, she more blames the mother, saddling them with debt, rather than Yuzuki. So I feel like the pronoun there is a bit misleading. Okay, next elevator. Another long-ass video.
僕も久々に本気出しちゃおうかな。
無理しないでくださいね。またスマホが更新された。
I almost forgot about this part, but we have more chat here. Again, we don't know the identity of this person here. But I posited Mama or 10H or ML. So again, they're talking about the power that the sun had. And then, as we saw at the end of Sun and Moon, they did achieve, fixing the sun and the moon, and then combining them. So through that, do Hina and Yuzuki gain that power? Or do they enable something by combining them together? It was said, or hinted, that Hina and Yuzuki were responsible for kind of opening up the cage to attack. But maybe restoring the sun and the moon, and then combining them, is a way for them to fight against that, or to strengthen the cage. Well, I don't know. Totally making guesses here. Okay, this will be the actual end of the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.